Notre Dame finding a way to get it done, walking into Kyle Field against 100,000 people, winning the game 23-13 over Texas A&M. What does it mean for Notre Dame? What can we take away from this game, the first game of the Riley Leonard era, the opener for year 3 of the Marcus Freeman era? We'll talk about all that, but make sure you are subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel, College Football Sickos. I know a lot of y'all watch this game and then stayed up even later to watch some more ball. If that was you, go ahead and subscribe right here. This is your channel for all things college football all year round, and we appreciate you doing that. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JDPakel. Let me know your thoughts around this game. So, as I was getting ready for this segment, last night, finished up watching, there's a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts after this game if you're a Notre Dame fan. Because on one hand, you're like, man, the offense, we talked so much about all the explosivity we were going to get from them. Mike Denbrock and him averaging like 10 yards a pass last year at LSU with his offense, and they were number 1 in the country, I believe, in yards per carry. 23 points? 23 points? That's all we're getting? I know A&M's a good defense, but really? We went into the portal and got one of the best quarterbacks in that thing, and Riley Leonard. What is going on? Here's what I would say. A lot of the times, it is better to be gritty than pretty. And that was what happened last night. And no, your quarterback wasn't throwing for 300 yards. That was unfortunate. But guess what? Found enough to get it done. Ran the football at a really, I thought, effective rate to get it done. Picked up some big first downs for you. You saw some called quarterback runs. That should tell you the belief you have in him at quarterback. The defense, man. We'll talk more about the defense in a second, but that is a team now with that defense that I believe can go toe-to-toe with just about anybody in college football. That is a defense that can walk into any environment, home or away, and get you in a street fight and feel pretty good about landing your fair share of punches. Like Xavier Watts, as advertised. That front seven, as advertised. Benjamin Morrison, as advertised. The adult defense that was supposed to be there was there. Okay? That should be encouraging if you're an Irish fan. That was exactly as advertised and was the strength of your football team yesterday. And a gritty matchup where you had to find a way to get it done. Now, again, going back to what I said, the offense left you wanting more. You don't apologize for getting a win in front of 100,000 people, college game day, and a primetime atmosphere. You found a way to get it done. Again, the offense did leave you feeling wanting a little bit more. But here's what I would say. Even with the lack of production and output, that's a young offensive line. And I think there should be validation, if you're a Notre Dame fan, around all the pieces you have offensively still to work with. Like Riley Leonard, what he is in that game and what he's going to be over the course of the next few months, I think it's going to evolve. I think it's going to change. But you also, I think, saw a lot of promising things from your skill players. Like Bo Collins, he was on a mission last night. And I know the box score doesn't totally reflect that, 5 for 62. But the way that he was battling on the perimeter against a good, or an improved at least, A&M secondary, that encouraged me. He's a guy that you just put the ball up to, and he's, hey, 50-50 ball is Bo Collins' ball. Jeremiah Love, we talked about him being a key matchup differentiator for you in this game. He was exactly that, scoring the game winner. Had over 90 yards on the ground, was a weapon in the pass game. You have some pieces here to really work with. Okay, your backfield ran hard all night. Price was a stud in that long touchdown run he had for you. That was a game changer. I think what you saw last night wasn't enough to, make you feel like it all came together perfectly in game 1. But again, I think you saw a lot of validation of, okay, when this thing does find its footing, when they do all get on the same page, especially when the offensive line does start to, what's the right word? Gel, I suppose you would say, does develop some experience, which you can't really replicate in practice. You just got to get it in games. Once they do find their stride, there's some guys to get the football to that I think Mike Denbrock will take advantage of. Also, I'll say this. Mike Denbrock, I thought, called a heck of a game last night. He knew what it was in the interior. And we said that during the week. It wasn't going to be so much the battle of A&M's D-line versus Notre Dame's offensive line. That battle was going to be won by A&M. The true battle was the chess match and how Mike Denbrock was able to scheme it up and allow his offense to generate some points. And they did exactly that. So I think that's the reason why it's scary. They won last night for the most part, just landing jabs and a couple of body shots, but there was no haymaker from Notre Dame last night. There was no deep shot to Chris Mitchell, a guy I talked about a lot. There was no, put it over the top to Jaden Greathouse, but I think that's coming. So a lot of variables I think you can just kind of chalk up last night's lack of offensive success. Week 1, new quarterback, new coordinator, a quarterback who didn't really get all the spring either for the most part. Tough atmosphere. Also, tip your hat to A&M. That's a good defense now. That is a very good outfit. And I know they only scored 23 points, but I think 23 against A&M is going to be good for 31 plus against a lot of other teams. So I'll leave it at that. Execution's got to get better, but I think you feel good about the offense from a jumping off point perspective. You never apologize for a gritty win. Now going back to the defense, man, schematically, from what I could tell, and I'm not like a defensive coordinator savant, but from what I could tell, they were content to just get after it in the box against A&M and let their secondary play man. And it worked like a charm. Like they played downhill and got after A&M. A physical outfit up front. They wanted to be the bully up front as well. Le'Veon Moss, I think, is a really good back, and I think he's going to have a good season in the SEC. But, they made a point last night to be the bully. And that's exactly what they were. And Marcus Freeman now, in year 3, what he's done on the defensive side of the football for Notre Dame should be applauded, not just schematically, but based on the personnel and the development. I heard Ari Wasserman, who's new to On 3 now, big get for us here at On 3. Excited to see him and Andy just make magic together on their show every single weekday morning on the On 3 YouTube channel. He mentioned, he's like, I saw Notre Dame have the superior personnel than an SEC team. How good does that have to feel if you're a Fighting Irish fan? Because that's really the neighborhood you've expected to live in. Not so much I'm talking about the southeastern part of the United States. I'm talking about in terms of the overall talent tier that you want to be at and expect to be at if you're Notre Dame. I'm not telling you you're exactly where you want to be, but you're a lot closer. And I think last night should serve as a pretty good measuring stick for that. It's hard to not overreact based on one data point. So, again, we try to not overreact from week 1. We're not big fans of that. It is what it is. But you look at the playoff path for Notre Dame, man. It is very, very obvious. It is extremely obvious. We said it all offseason now here, and we don't even need to break down the whole schedule for you. Just 2 games. Florida State, USC. We told you, if they go 1-2 in that stretch, they're going to be okay. And they're going to feel decent about their chance to make the college football playoff. Because every other game, if you're Notre Dame, you should be at a talent advantage. Pretty convincingly. Y'all, they got their one of those 3 last night. And by the looks of things, we'll see how Florida State trends. We're going to get a good gauge on USC on Sunday night. We're recording this on Sunday morning, so we'll see what happens. If you're watching this after Sunday, more power to you, and you have better gauge for USC. I think Notre Dame is in a very good chance, in a very good position to make the college football playoff and get a pretty decent seeding when they get there. We had a preseason in the playoff. A lot of, I think, what they're going to be going forward depends on becoming more dynamic downfield with Riley Leonard and capitalizing on these skill players. But, hey, man, you do not apologize for a gritty win in front of 100,000 people in a very difficult atmosphere in Kyle Field and your quarterback's first start on his new team. So, for Notre Dame, gritty is better than pretty, and that was a gritty outfit last night, finding a way to get it done on the road. The Irish now, 12-team playoff. I'd be surprised if we don't see them there. But it's week 1. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Lock in right here, baby. College football every single day. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.